Okay, so let's talk about why people regret losing you once they lose you. When they were with you, they took you for granted. But as soon as you left, all of a sudden, something inside of them turned on, something inside of them switched, and they realized how valuable you are. Okay. The first thing is time and perspective. Time tends to have a power to immortalize things in our minds, right? Our memories, the longer they are away from the event that happened, the more the more nostalgic they become. They develop a filter that creates nostalgia. Memories, especially of our loved ones, develop a certain quality that creates a reaction in us that makes us long it. For example, when we don't like something, our mind sees it as dark, tiny, and fuzzy and gray. But when there's something that we want to do, our mind encourages us to do it through representing it in our minds as vivid, large, vibrant, bright, right? So anything that's dark, muddy, and far in our minds are things that we don't want to do, and things that we want to do tend to be shiny and strong, and that has a quality that creates a reaction in us, right? And there's something in NLP that if you want to do something, if you want to change how you feel about something, just change how you see it, right? So for example, if you want to do workout, imagine how you see working out. And a lot of the times people who don't want to work out, they'll see working out as a dark, fuzzy, not colorful type of image. But if you want to increase the motivation, just change the modalities, make it brighter, make it bigger, make it more vibrant. And what people will notice and is that people feel more motivation. But then there's another filter, which is nostalgia. And I don't know the quality of it, but that filter creates longing, right? Dark, fuzzy creates distance. I don't want it. Bright, strong, vibrant creates desire to have it. But this filter is a nostalgia that makes us want to go back to the past. It's a different quality. And that's what happens to your memory when you leave them. All of the memories that they had together gets exaggerated, gets more romantic. In fact, the memories they have of you, if they didn't like you, they'll notice that their memories of you, there's no eye contact. As soon as they regret losing you, their memories of you come with eye contact. All of a sudden, the image of you, which is me right now, and once they start regret losing you, the image goes like this. It starts looking at you, and it releases oxytocin. It creates a desire to connect with this person. And that's what distance does. That's what perspective does. Perspective and distance removes all the negative traits in the face. The further you are from someone, the less wrinkles you'll see, the less flaws you'll see, right? And so that's what tends to happen is that when you leave, they start to remember you completely different. And what tends to happen is that if you actually go back to them, a lot of the times they think they're expecting something in their minds. And then once they see you in real life, the image they have of you in their minds fades away. And a lot of the times they're left with you and they realize it was all an illusion. That happens a lot. Really sucks. It really sucks for them too, right? Because they thought they were going to react differently. But timer's perspective does that. The second thing is that they sense the hole you left. And this is what tends to happen when our parents die, that we don't realize how much we depended on them. We don't realize how much we depending on them for emotional support, right? So you tend to miss the emotional support, the comfort, the sense of security that your partner provided. You tend to realize how much shared memories you guys had. They regret losing the experience, the shared experiences, memories, and history you built together. And the mind creates an image, a movie, a Netflix series in your mind that keeps replaying because it wants to relive those moments. Sometimes your mind and body does not know, and they're not in connection about how happy you really are. You might not be happy, you might be consciously taking them for granted, but your body is completely comfortable with them. Your body feels comfortable. Your body reacts with relaxation around them. You may not be aware of that because of your dumbass ego, but your body is. And as soon as they leave, your body feels like it's lacking something. Your body feels like it's lacking an essential oxygen, right? And so leaving is the only time when people realize how much you fulfilled in them, how much they needed you, right? So and this is why it's important to have those little metaphoric breakups, not breaking up, but like metaphoric breakups, moments of tension, having uncomfortable conversations where you talk about your boundaries, or you talk about your likes and desires, or you talk about what you like about the relationship and what you don't like. And those types of conversations creates a type of conflict that makes people fear losing you. So that's why it's important to have boundaries and talk about them, because it creates those uncomfortable conversations. Now, the next one is that they see you happy, right? So the one is time and perspective, right? How time changes memory, how time changes the way you perceive people, and how memories tend to be very shakeable and cannot be trustworthy. Right? So they start to remember you completely different, outside of proportion, especially if they're sad. They're going to start exaggerating some traits of you, right? And the next thing is that they sense the hole that you left, right? And the next one is that they see you happy. Like when sometimes people don't realize how important you are or how much they like you until they see somebody else appreciate you. Now, if that's the case, you may not want to be with them, but essentially, once they see that other people are happy with you, then they say, okay, if they like them, if they like my ex, then that means my ex is really attractive. That's what people think, right? It's almost like when you think somebody's a loser, and you think they have no friends, and then you look at their profile and they have a lot of friends. A lot of people's report to when they see other people with somebody that they don't like and that they have a lot of friends, a lot of people end up giving them another shot simply because they see that other people approve of them. But also when they see you happy, it hurts their ego. It's like, bitch, why you happy? Why are you so happy? Like, aren't you sad? Didn't we end up not being together? And so the person's ego will then wanna be there because they sense that if you're happy without them, then that means that maybe they weren't that good. Like, exes can sense when you're happy. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like someone's happy. I don't like this, right? Now the next one is that they healed or they haven't healed. Listen, when somebody is broken emotionally, they may not be able to appreciate the great person that you are. And because of that, they may like chaos. Because of that, they may like someone who's toxic. They may like someone who hurts them. They may like someone who confirms their self-opinion that they're not really worthy of love, that they're not worthy to be admired, they're not worthy to be treated right. And as a result, if you start treating them right, if you start treating them with respect, they're gonna start to push you away because you don't confirm their self-opinion. But then once the person starts healing, once the person starts to realize their mistakes, over time they start to rethink about the things that they did in the past. And one of the things that they'll gravitate to is to the people who were good for them, but that they really didn't appreciate them. And that's where you're gonna come across. All of a sudden they sense that since they've healed, they feel like they could really appreciate you. And sometimes they come back, right? And that happens. Or sometimes they haven't healed, where they don't heal and they're not over you, where you hurt them and they haven't gotten over that pain, and because of that, they still want you back, right? The next one is that they fear being alone. This happens a lot. This happens when guys are sad or they want some poom poom. And this happened a lot during the pandemic, where a lot of women came back to some exes. And I went back to some exes, people. Even I did that shit. I was like a dumbass. And the reason why is because I was alone. I was lonely. I was sad. I was depressed. There was nothing to do. Like, it was fucking boring. So you just wanted anyone's attention. And this happens a lot, right? This happens a lot during the holidays, during those sad moments. But a lot of the times people come back because they just feel alone and they want some validation. They want company. They want someone to validate them. And this is when I had a lot of clients during the pandemic that wanted to go back to their exes, and this is why they just felt lonely. A lot of the times exes come back not because they want you, but because of convenience. Now the next one is being with someone else. They're dating someone, and because they're not over you, they keep comparing them to you, and that person always loses when it comes to comparing them to you. When it comes to exes, you can never win. When somebody's not over their ex, it doesn't matter how attractive you are. It doesn't matter how golden your dick is, right? Doesn't matter. Magic poom poom, don't give a fuck. When someone's not over their ex, they're never really gonna appreciate you. They're always gonna compare you, and you're always gonna feel like they're not fully there. So they usually will come back to their exes if they're not over their exes. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's easy to tell though because they're the actions, right? But before you find out, it's hard to tell because most people won't tell you they're not over their ex unless they're honest on a date, right? But sometimes when you're dating someone, you just cannot date certain people because it's almost like eating food outside the matrix, right? Where in the matrix you have steak, but outside the matrix there's no such thing as steak. It's just bland prison food. So by comparison, the food you're eating just doesn't taste good, and your mind always and your mind just keeps going back to that moment that you actually had, that you were happy. And this happens, and look, I bet you guys have experienced this, man. You guys have experienced this. For me, the reason I go back to exes a lot of the time is usually loneliness and lack of validation. That for me is why I go back, right? But as I've gotten older and I've matured, I tend to see the past, as an artifact, as something not to go back to. Where in the past, I looked at going back in the past as a way to relive those memories, to go back to a happier time. What I notice now, because I am so content with my life right now, at least in the moment, right? I'm so content that I'm happy with where I am. I don't need to go back to the past. And this is why you have to develop a meditation practice. Developing a strong meditation practice will enable you to not go back to the past. And there are 3 ways you can do that. 1, purchase the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Go to a Vipassana meditation retreat by going to dharma.org, dhamma.org, or purchasing my course, Emotional Mastery, where I give you guys instructions on how to develop a deeper and stronger meditation practice, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to work with Father Alex 101, go to mindfulattraction.org, and I'll see you guys later. Shut up, bird. Bye-bye. All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I can tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club video that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.